Hello and welcome to the Morningscape podcast. I am Matt Moody, joined by DJ Mitchell to cover the Thursday, March 5th daily fantasy NHL/NBA slate. Yep, that's right. Because it is a 12-game slate with pretty much maybe 2 games of like significant meaning. I expect a lot of the NBA style to take prominence here. But as we try to cover the slate as best we can, how you doing, DJ?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Sabres officially the first ever team to finish 31st place. So I had the imperfect season. The Cleveland Browns and Buffalo Sabres both decided that they hated me and they were going to be the worst teams in the NHL. So
It's fantastic. It feels really good to set out to do something and then fail so miserably that you did the next best thing. I mean, if the Sabres weren't going to make the playoffs, then why not finish 31st?
Yep.
Um,
So with an 18.5% chance of getting Rasmus Dahlin, the Buffalo Sabres, they have 50.6% chance of getting fourth. I mean, that is just like the thing is I don't like the current system, but I'm not gonna sit here and be that Sabres fan that complains about it. Like we need to be good. Like who cares about the draft? Like at some point it's over. You know what I mean?
mhm.
But yeah, I don't. The gold drafting system would be the ideal situation. Maybe we'll talk about this more in our season previews next year. We won't bore you with the details. There's a lot of good information online. You can check out Michael Blake McCurdy at HockeyViz, which we reference all the time, or a
Well,
great article from Down Goes Brown a couple of weeks ago. So
yeah. Well, I don't think we like the gold plan right now because the Sabres just tanked down the stretch. Um,
yeah, I mean, I'm sure that someone will post like who would have won the gold draft, and I bet
that's
it was Arizona.
no, yeah, it's up somewhere.
I'm sure it's somewhere. I guarantee Arizona had to have done. They did not lose a game after they were eliminated. It feels like.
Yeah, they've been good. But yeah, so we can go into the Thursday slate. Like I said, we have 12 games up ahead of us.
Well, before we do that, the listener league.
Yeah, go for it.
So the listener league, unless if we missed something. So if anyone wants to double check this, because me and Matt had to go back through, we could only see the ones we were in. I doubt we missed any contests, but if anyone does want to double check this, we had a three-way tie, with was it Michael Labs?
Uh, yeah, Mike Labs. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike Labs had 3 wins. JR had 3 wins, and Scott Craig had 3 wins.
Hmm.
So all three of you had 3 wins. If anyone was in the listener league every single time and wants to double check in the group meet, just message me and we can kind of look if any dates were missed. But that's what we have right now. And we're gonna have to do a 3-man head to head, kind of like a little league you guys can make yourself for who would come on the playoff edition of the Morning Skate podcast.
Yeah.
So with that being said, housekeeping out of the way, Matt.
I did find the gold plan standings. So
Oh,
Arizona on it would be picking first. Vancouver would be second. Detroit third. Montreal, Chicago, Edmonton are tied for fourth. I think I'm at right now. Yeah, they would be tied for fourth, and then the next at 4 points is Islanders, Ottawa, Buffalo. So yeah, the Sabres would definitely be outside of the top five here, which is I guess a little cherry on top of the terrible season that was. If they had switched this year to the gold plan, it would have been like, well, just a perfect time to be a Sabres fan. So like I said, we have 12 games. We'll stop for each one to kind of say whether it's relevant or whether it just like doesn't matter. So the first one we have is Toronto at New Jersey. New Jersey's still playing for a playoff berth. They're, I think what 2 points and they clinch.
The New Jersey Devils have 95 points. Florida Panthers have 90, the only team that could take them out. So with a win, they would be in.
Okay. And Toronto is firmly locked into the third spot in the Atlantic, so they can't move.
Nope.
But it doesn't seem like I don't see any inclination that like they're going to be resting guys, which is good.
I'd be shocked.
Yeah. So I guess that's good. The Rangers at Islanders, as you may suspect, neither of these teams have anything to play for. We mentioned last show that Zuccarello and Jesper Fast are both done for the year, so we can touch on them when we get to it. And obviously, the Islanders could be another team that starts sitting guys out. Carolina at Philly. Let's see. Philly is in the same boat as New Jersey. If they secure a win, they're basically playing for the win, as Florida is right there on their heels, but they control their own destiny. So expect them to be at full force versus the eliminated Carolina team. Nashville at Washington. Yeah, I think Washington. Yeah, Washington can't move. They can't pass anyone in the Atlantic either, so they're like locked into home ice through 2 rounds, and then the road for the second round, unless it's not Boston or Tampa, which would be a shock, I think. So they're really a risk. It seems as if Ovechkin could be out, so that's just the one thing I want to note. What do you see for Nashville? I don't have them up right now.
Nashville has a 3-point lead on Winnipeg to
Okay.
win the Western, and they have a 3-point lead as well on all the teams chasing them for the President's Trophy, if they care about that. So, yeah, they do want to edge out Winnipeg to get that top spot in the entire conference.
Okay. All right. Pittsburgh at Columbus. Pittsburgh has clinched. Columbus has yet to. Again, they're right there in that, get a point and they're confirmed in. Also of note, the number 2 slot in the Metro is up in the air still. So if these teams are playing for home ice, this Pittsburgh Columbus game is basically like the winner has the death grip on second in the Metro. So expect a pretty intense battle there, but not. I wouldn't say it would be, if someone's hurt, I don't think they'll be playing. So you can certainly check on a guy like Kessel. I know Broussard's still out, and I'm like 99% sure Kessel will play, as he has like an Ironman streak going that we'd hate to see break up. And I don't think anything major Columbus
don't board anyone, and you should be fine.
Right. So Montreal at Detroit is the next one. Obviously, both teams there are dead. Boston at Florida. As we mentioned, Florida is fighting for their playoff lives currently. So they will be, basically playing playoff games for these last 3 games of theirs. Interestingly, they face Boston again for your Sunday's last game of the season on the very, negative first last day of the season, because they play it after the last day of the season, which is exciting.
Is that because of wasn't there a game that was like messed up in Boston that they had to like postpone?
Yeah, there's
is that this one?
Yeah, it's that one.
It's got to be right. All right, let's make it sure.
Boston still does have a little bit to play for. They have, obviously, they along with Florida have a game in hand on everyone else right now. So they're tied with Tampa. A win would basically put them in the driver's seat for first in the Atlantic. So that's, I guess, of note. Calgary at Winnipeg. Yeah, we mentioned Winnipeg is still technically in contention, but they sat everybody last game. They sat Wheeler, Scheifele, Trouba, and Morrissey, I think, were the guys who sat out. So expect more of that here, I would think. Maybe they won't because they're at home, but definitely a team to keep an eye on, even though they technically do have something to play for. Calgary, whatever. Vegas at Edmonton. More Vegas news. Marchessault and Perron did not travel with the team, so they're definitely out here. And more could be coming. I think Riley Smith could be back, but I guess we'll see about that one. And yeah, Edmonton's done. Arizona, Vancouver. Sadly, they both probably got hot at the wrong time. Both teams are actually playing pretty decently right now, but not really much to see there. Would expect them to be, relatively full strength though. Minnesota at LA. Where does LA sit right now? I think you mentioned it.
Yeah, they're in the 3rd spot in the Pacific by 1 point over Anaheim. Anaheim does have a game at hand. So, I mean, yeah, they're not. Well, if the Blues win tonight, tonight being yesterday, then they would still have a chance to knock out LA from a playoff spot in general. So they're not confirmed in. Has that game ended yet?
No, there's 2 minutes left. It is a tie game. So, All right, so that leaves us with one more. Let's see, Colorado at San Jose. San Jose is clinched. We saw Vander Kane sit last game, so
Yeah.
could be some more of that.
Well,
Colorado,
they could
obviously,
only move
fighting.
down. They couldn't move up.
Right, yeah, they could still be passed by LA. So
A
there's
win would
that.
knock that off. I'm pretty. Yeah. Well, not if a win. If LA, I don't know what the tiebreaker is. Let's look. It's overtime.
Uh, Regulation overtime wins, so
44.
LA
They
would
would
have
have.
the
Yeah.
tie.
Yeah, they would.
Okay. Um, okay, so that pretty much does I guess, doesn't mean anything. So be sure to keep those in mind. Let's get to the game by game, quick plays. I won't say we're going to go all in on every single game just because of the fluid nature of all of these games. But let's start with Toronto at New Jersey. So we said last show famously that Taylor Hall and friends were a little bit too expensive for our likings. Uh yeah, that doesn't feel so hot. If you played Kyle Palmieri, you're pretty upset though. So I mean, that was kind of what I would like to have said if I could go back and say it, because I just think that, Taylor Hall is in a league of his own, but I find it really tough to stack around him at these prices. So, do you have any interest, DJ, in Will Butcher, who kind of seems to have taken back that power play job? Obviously he had 2 goals last game, so uh, definitely points chasey, but that power play role is so important that, do you have any interest there?
I probably won't do it myself. He's really kind of a pass first, shoot second type of guy. Like, I mean, you're definitely he's stackable only. Like, if you're stacking up on New Jersey and you want to get power play exposure through Butcher,
Oh
I
my
think.
God. Chicago just scored with 10 seconds left.
Oh, the Blues are dead. That is so
Oh my
sad.
God.
They're like, I mean, they're not dead. Obviously, they're only 1 point back on Colorado, but that is not what you want to see. That is.
Wow. That's crazy.
I was ready to just be like, so Colorado's playing for everything, and now all of a sudden,
Yeah.
well, Chicago's gonna get Rasmus Dahlin, so they're just doesn't matter. Okay, back to this. I probably won't play Butcher. Like, if you want my honest take here,
Okay.
unless if I'm stacking, and I probably won't stack New Jersey. Like, I don't
Yeah.
hate it, but it's pretty expensive, and I don't think Toronto will fit anyone because this is not the style Babcock seems to have. Although we haven't really seen them. Well, but we saw them in the playoffs, right? Last year.
Yeah.
They were fighting tooth and nail to the end. So
Yep. They beat
we'll see.
out Tampa by one
Tampa
point
by
at
one
the
point.
last day of
Yes,
the year.
that's
So,
what I thought. Okay. So we
um,
shall see what Babcock does, but I doubt he sits anyone.
and yeah, on the Toronto side, we saw lines in practice today. They were pretty much as you would expect. Andreas Janssen is not in the lineup, so that's, I don't know. I guess he was playing fourth line anyway, so it didn't really matter. But just a note there. Travis Dermott returns on Saturday, not Thursday, so pretty much same old on defense. Um, yeah, I mean, Morgan Riley's been really good. That first power play of JVR, Kadri, Marner, and Riley with uh, who else is there? Like
What?
Connor Brown or something?
Um.
Why am I blanking on
Wait.
this?
Matthew Marner, Gardner,
Oh,
Nylander.
Bozak. Bozak.
Oh, the other one, the Bozak, Marner, Riley,
Uh-huh.
Kadri. Yeah. I mean, they're both fine. I don't know. Just I'm probably not gonna like. I would take a piece from this game maybe, but I'm not sure what yet. But like the pieces you want are obviously Hall and Matthews, and they're super expensive. Like I really do like this game from a tempo aspect. I really have no idea where I'd land right now because I don't really want to pay up for New Jersey, and I feel like Nylander Matthews is like the one like sharp spot.
Yeah, I mean, they
It'd be
obviously had the
contrarian.
big game last time out, so
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think everything's going to be a bit contrarian here. I mean, 12 games, there's
Mm.
not really any slam dunk spots, in my opinion. So, um, I think, I think if you're looking for like a true, you know, I guess if you're really trying to be contrarian, I feel like Marner Kadri will be much lower owned than Matthews Nylander. So, you could swing that. the obviously Matthews Nylander getting hot last game kind of cut into the minutes of Marner and Matthews, like as a result. So if this game's close, I think Marner and Kadri could be solid plays. But let's see. With the Blues lost, the Kings have clinched. So that's
That changes things.
yeah, it changes a little bit for the LA when we get there. But yeah, I think you could probably get away with playing this game, but me personally, I'd rather stack power plays than like take one-off plays. I just don't feel good enough about a guy like Matthews or like even a guy like Marner to play like on their own. Because I just don't think that the 7 shots, goal, assist, that sort of upside is there. Shot wise, I think it's going to be done on the 2 goals, assists, 2 shots kind of game. And yeah, the pace, like you mentioned, should be really strong. So definitely stacking here. Don't see any slam dunk cash plays in my opinion, though. So let's go to the Rangers at Islanders. We saw last game kind of got a bit crazy in the third period between the Islanders and Flyers. I think they combined for 6 third period goals. Just a crazy finish in general. Josh Bailey is back for the Islanders, so the lines were as you would expect there. Bailey, Tavares, Lee, Bavillier, Barzal, Eberle, and the defense was as expected as well with Leddy and Boychuk in the fold. Leddy first power play. So pretty much, as a status quo for the Islanders. Let's see. Do you have the Rangers lines up at all or no?
From last game?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kreider, Zibanejad, Nemestikov, Spooner, Hedel, and VC. And then there was, I think Desjardins got hurt.
Yeah.
So,
I think so.
Buchnevich kind of split time between going with, Desjardins only had 4 minutes. So, yeah, I'm assuming. Hayes and Buchnevich had some time with Anderson, and they also had some time with Hedel, kind of looks like. So, sort of a mess. Kind of ended up just going with 11 forwards and 6 defensemen. Anderson was kind of on the 4th line with Holland and Carey, but saw some minutes, like I said, with Hayes and Buchnevich. So Elias Anderson only with 11 total minutes and no power play time. Hedel did see power play time. The 2 kind of like rookie guys were trying to figure out, and Hedel was with Brady Shea, Jimmy VC, Ryan Spooner, and Kevin Hayes. So that whole Spooner, Hedel, VC line was the second power play, and the Kreider, Zibanejad, Nemestikov was the entire first power play with Buchnevich and Pionk.
Pionk.
Yeah. Pyeongchang.
Why?
Okay.
Yeah, so Zibanejad has been priced up pretty significantly, up to 6.2. So I don't know how I feel about that. I think they'll be rolling lines a bit more. I think Barzal at 6.1 is actually more of interest to me. I know he doesn't have the same sort of shot floor that Zibanejad does, but I just like the Islanders' power play a bit more and think that the offense is more focused to them. I think Hedel's an interesting play at 3.8. If you're looking for him on DraftKings, it's CHY. Like that's the beginning of his last name, pronounced Hedel. So I guess that's noteworthy. But in 7 games, he has 18 shots on goal, and that's been only averaging 12 minutes a night. If he's getting, probably 15 to 16, that's a pretty good shot floor to base yourself off of with second line power play time against these Islanders depth guys. I could definitely see that being a viable play. How about like Brady Shea or you mentioned Pionk? Like, are you interested in like punting it with the D-man from here?
Not really. I really would rather try to stack defense on a 12-game slate and hope that like a power play and line kind of all hook up, rather than I just don't see myself having a lot of Rangers as like a stack. But if I did, I like Brady Shea more as like a DFS asset. I don't know what Neil Pionk is going to be. He's been okay coming in, got decent iCorsi per 60 to some games having pretty good. But just personally, I don't think I'd play either of them. No.
Okay. So we can go to Carolina.
Anything for the Islanders? We kind of mentioned them, but was there any plays you liked? I don't think you ever said like you liked any of them.
Yeah, I like Barzell. I don't really see myself playing anyone else.
Chase them points moves, chase them
TBH.
up. Him
Well, I
and
mean,
Bolivier just chase all of them. No, I'm just kidding. That's fine. I like Barzell too. I'm
yeah,
just
I mean,
saying that.
I like getting that first power play.
But the Rangers defense is so
Let's
good.
see. Yeah, I'm looking for Lee and Bailey's price. Yeah, I mean, they're cheap enough to where I think you could definitely stack that and feel okay about it. I do worry a little bit about the minutes there. I don't see them like riding the guns like a team. If we can get to them, like Philadelphia going against Carolina, like this seems like a really nice spot for the Flyers
Wait,
guys.
but you're missing one important note from this game that you're not even going to mention
Oh
before
my god,
the Rangers game.
tell me, DJ.
This is the last game John Tavares is going to play in for the New York Islanders well, not the last game for them, but in his home arena. I mean, you're not even going to ride that narrative of him, hat tricking his way out of New York
Chase
and
those points, DJ.
just going
Chase those.
right to Buffalo. I mean, come on, you're not even going to talk about this.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess if I mention all the other guys on the first power play, Tavares obviously makes sense there.
It's his last game for the. I'm just kidding. I really think he'll resign. But anyways, I just had to say it. I had to be that guy. Any Islanders
He's,
fans out there,
he's
I
quite
am,
good at hockey.
and he will be on the Matt. Finish that sentence.
Tavares.
Will be on the next year.
Um, Yikes. I mean, obviously the Islanders should be like the odds-on favorite.
Probably.
I heard San Jose today, and I thought that was interesting. I didn't realize
I've heard that before.
but I feel like once they sign Evander, that'll be a bit tricky to fit, but we'll
Mhm.
see. That was just an interesting team I never really considered to.
We'll consider an off-season talk.
Yeah,
Yeah. I like
think
doing this.
St. Louis also could make sense there.
Yeah, but you're missing the obvious Buffalo Sabres. I mean, its uncle's number is hung in the rafters for the Buffalo Bandits, and
Dude,
you're not even going to think that that's going to sway him to come to Buffalo and be a part of the. Okay.
they don't even have like the money for him. As sad as that is.
I mean, it depends how much you think Reinhardt's going to ask. All right, this is definitely getting off the rails. We will talk about this after the show.
All right.
Back to the game that I think we both would decide on being a pretty fun one to consider.
Yeah, the Philadelphia side here, Giroux. I could get on board with Couturier. Wayne Simmons is just 5.2 still. I think that's an awesome price for him playing net front on that first power play. If you don't want to stack like that top.
They had Patrick on the first power play.
Oh, did they?
Yes, he had 2 goals in the first power play.
Well, that's exciting because Wayne Simmons had a great game too, and I was just like, oh well, that figures.
Well, they had at one point Simmons was out there instead of Patrick, but Patrick was out there most of the time. It looks like.
But okay, that's interesting for sure.
But 4-9 Nolan Patrick. I mean, it is a bit point chasey. 2 goals last game and an assist, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. So 3 points, 10-point night for him on DK. I think some people will be on it. Maybe not everyone, but Matt, I'll let you continue on with what you were saying before.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna add Voracek on because I think that power play stack makes a ton of sense. Gostisbehere is just, I mean, he's done everything for the last 3 months. It feels like he wasn't that great at DFS asset for the first half of the season or so, and then he just absolutely started pouring it on. Block shots on goal wise. So I think Ghost is an awesome play here. I think this is where I'm leaning early on in just where I'm trying to jam in as much exposure as I can. Just because I think that they will still have their highly, highly concentrated usage between these, I guess, if you want to call it 4 power play guys, if you don't want to include Simmons. But yeah, I mean, I feel like Simmons is still a fine gamble here at only 5.2. I don't know if Patrick will remain on that first power play. He certainly could, but I kind of lean towards the maybe Simmons was tired or had drawn the penalty, so Patrick is out there, and then he scored a goal, and they're like, "Hey, let's try it again," and then he scored another goal or something. So I would definitely have to look into that a little bit more, but
yeah.
but I just think all of these Philly guys remain in play. How about Travis Konechny? Playing that first power play, he's put up really good floor numbers lately. He's been producing. So, what do you think about Konechny at 5.6 as a stack with
Yeah.
these Philly guys?
If you go full first line stack Philly, I would not say you were dumb. Like that's fine. I'm totally okay with it. Um, yeah, no, I mean, I like him as like I think he's a really talented player. I would say he's like a poor man's Barzell, maybe, although he's on the wing, not center. But he definitely has I just mean like a ton of skill. You know what I mean? He can definitely do a lot with that puck, and he's getting like 17 minutes, all 5-on-5. So if you want to go with that full first line stack, like just do it. Have a good time.
What about like an Arvidsson?
Okay, you know what, Arvidsson maybe. I don't know. Do you think he has the shot like metrics? Like, is he enough of a shooter for you to say Arvidsson?
Um,
I'm fine with Arvidsson as like a profile there, but like I feel like Arvidsson's like was way more puck shot dominant coming into the league. Maybe like not quite as much as he is now. I mean, he's not as much now, maybe, but he was.
yeah, no, that's I'm not really. I'm actually just pulling up their shot numbers right now. So Arvidsson's at about 12 per 60 and Konechny's about 10 per 60. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely a bit of a gap there.
Okay,
But I
I
think
like it though.
yeah, I think that comparison's a bit pretty
So
interesting.
anything on the Carolina side, I don't completely despise Teuvo Aho being as it's pretty cheap, but I don't think I'd put my life on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's, just probably not.
There. I feel like it's a good idea in theory, but like actually putting that into your lineup, it feels
Yeah,
so wrong in so many ways.
it's a 12-game slate. Carolina's on the road against a team that like has been playing well. Basically, does still need to win. So I'm not about it. Um, I'm ready to move to Nashville versus Washington. As I alluded to, I think this could be a game where you see some like significant, I guess, rest days. Ovechkin took what is being deemed a maintenance day on Wednesday. It wasn't, they, I guess Trotz said that basically they're not sure whether he's going to play. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely some risk there. Let's pretend Ovechkin doesn't play. Like, I'm just trying to figure out like what that does. Like, assume that Backstrom plays. TJ Oshie also could be out as well. So technically, two power play roles could be up for grabs here. Do you think someone like Burakovsky maybe would step up to fill that role?
Well, last game they had Connolly, Ovechkin, Karlsson, Kuznetsov, Backstrom. So yeah, like I think Burakovsky would be the guy. And did you see the goal he had against St. Louis?
Oh yes, I did. Yeah.
It was really quite a goal. If you haven't seen it, go look that up. I was kind of just scrolling through Instagram and I was like, whoa. Hi. Yeah, I think it was actually Vince Dunn that he like eviscerated
I
and
didn't
left
see it.
to die.
I didn't see it.
So,
I don't know what you're talking about.
It wasn't Vince Dunn.
Yeah, it was one of the other dusters, I bet.
Yeah, it wasn't
I didn't see it if it was Vince Dunn.
I think it was. I'm not sure. Look it up. I'll double check. But yeah, I really like Burakovsky. I mean, I think a lot of Capitals fans would have expected a bit more from him this year than he's given. But I mean, yeah, he's a fine play, especially if Ovechkin's out. I think there's a lot of shots to go around then. And like
Yes.
Kuznetsov, Wilson, like who are they going to put on that first line? I have no idea what they do, but Burakovsky makes a lot of sense. Well, I mean, any interest in Connolly?
Yeah, I mean, I was I didn't realize Oshie was out on Monday, so
Yeah, Brett Connolly,
I did.
2.9.
Yeah, that seems awesome because not only that, but he's playing at a 5-on-5 role with Backstrom as well. So if Oshie's out, that could be one of those like not quite lockish, but like a really really good punt
Strong
there.
ones.
Yeah,
I never got like what's wrong with Brett Connolly. Like he seemingly shoots the puck a decent amount.
Yeah,
not always, but like
numbers.
he just doesn't get any minutes. I don't know what. And like he has a good shot. Like he has a very like nice shot. I don't know what it is. I mean, I don't. I guess I don't watch enough Brett Connolly to have the know on this, but I don't know.
Interestingly, he's like one of the absolute worst shot per 60 guys in the NHL, which
Yeah.
well, I'm looking at the last 17 or last 20 games. So I guess that could take it a little bit out of whack, but that is, I guess, something I didn't really expect because you watch him play and like yeah, like you said, he does have a nice shot when he scores goals. Like it seems like they're like howitzers. Um, so yeah, that's an interesting speculative play. I don't think John Carlson will sit out. So if he does though, Niskanen and Orlov would one of them would probably step to that first unit. My guess would be Niskanen, so that could be great. Let's play the what if game on Nashville though, because Arvidsson came in and did play in their last game. Assuming everyone plays for Nashville, DJ, do you have any interest in anyone here, or are you just looking at them saying like, yeah, they're rolling four lines, they're not really trying to do too much? I'm just gonna look elsewhere.
Yeah, I really wish we could have seen power play units last game, but Florida denied them of opportunity. So we don't exactly know what they're going to do. They definitely have changed. Seemingly every game, they have a little bit of a different look going on. I feel like it's a huge question mark. I would bet on both sides resting some players potentially. So I think it's a fade for me on the Nashville side. It's just like I'm not going to pay those prices for a less equity than you would need for me to play them. Like Forsberg and Arvidsson aren't like they're great players. They do shoot the puck, but I would say they're not maybe like you're gonna get the minutes plus the shot metrics that make me think like I'd have to play them against a good Washington team.
So. The one player that I'm keeping an eye out for is if any of these three big defensemen for Nashville sit out, Ellis, Yossi, Subban, Matthias Ekholm is 3,900, so he would be borderline. I think he would be a lock if any of those three were to sit out and it wasn't like a full team sitting type thing. If it's just like Yossi getting a rest day, Ekholm I think is an awesome bet to put up the numbers that you would need at his price. So let's go to Pittsburgh versus Columbus. I mentioned Derek Brassard remains out. He could come back, but he didn't practice Wednesday, so it doesn't seem like he's even begun skating. So with him out, Kessel kind of loses his buddy, assuming that he plays on that third line. And I think we're still looking at a Hornqvist Malkin stack. They've come down a little bit in price, and we mentioned that this game is kind of important. So any interest in stacking either the Pittsburgh side or maybe this like red hot Columbus power play?
Yeah, I mean, Columbus has been scoring goals in bunches, but I mean, they've been giving up. I feels like a decent amount of goals as of late. I know they just gave up 4 to Detroit, 1 in OT, and I feel like the game before that, didn't they kind of get exposed by Vancouver? Was it Vancouver?
Columbus?
Yeah, didn't they just give up like
they gave up 5 to Vancouver?
Yeah. So like they've been getting a bit exposed. I mean, I could definitely see like, this pit side being extremely contrarian. Comparatively to normal, where people are kind of all over them. Extremely might be a bit of a strong take, but guys like Hornqvist are definitely like Hornqvist, Kessel, and Malkin and Crosby. Like they're all expensive still, but maybe not quite as expensive as they were.
Game logs.
Pittsburgh.
Oh my god.
What? Which one? Let's go.
Atkinson, Seth Jones.
Well, yeah. Okay. Well, Atkinson, Seth Jones, like that, they're carrying Columbus. I mean,
yeah, it's crazy.
Like, I don't even know. I don't know what to say because this happens. Like guys like Cam Atkinson on the other side have these crazy game logs, and I'm like, yeah, like I can't chase these points. Like this is stupid. And like even if the metrics are telling me, like, no, it's fine. But what do you think? What do you just want to transition over? Because I feel like it is kind of like the battle of like the top lines. Like I don't think I'd go really too far. Although Columbus really did concentrate line usage between the Dubois, Panarin, Atkinson, the Wemberg, Jenner, Vanek, and all other 6 forwards saw like nothing. So yeah, I'll send it back to you though. What do you think between these two top lines and stacks and whatnot?
Yeah, I really like the stackability in this game. I'm kind of surprised to see the Monday or Wednesday night line to be only a 5.5 over under. Columbus is a slight favorite though, so that has me leaning towards like, yeah, I know that Seth Jones is like pretty expensive right now, but you can certainly fit him in. I think that he and Gostisbehere are clearly better plays than just about anyone like near them or below them in price. So I really like Seth Jones here. You're chasing points, but when this power play is clicking, they showed last year too that they just put up huge games from time to time. And with Panarin distributing, Atkinson makes for a fantastic play. He'll put up floor numbers. He, obviously has enough skill to pick up assists too. Dubois, I think at 6,000 is a bit tough to play. Like, I don't think that it's really all that necessary either. Like, yeah, you probably can get away with it. But if you're looking to kind of play like a cheapish center that you like, maybe someone like Heedle or something, and use that money to spend up on these guys, I think that like a 3-man power play stack is in order here on the Columbus side. For Pittsburgh, I'm a little bit more skeptical just because it seems as if they're not happy with like the Malkin line. So him and Kessel and Hornqvist are kind of flip flopping like with wingers. We saw Kessel on the third line in practice today, so that makes me think Hornqvist is the play there. So I could jump back on Hornqvist, but I think he's more of a one-off play to me. Like I don't see this game being like 7-6 or anything crazy. So I'd rather put all of my eggs in the Columbus basket, so to speak, and then take Hornqvist kind of like a one-off play.
Okay. Any interest then, I guess, while we're kind of on the topic, Riley Sheehan was with Hornqvist last game at 3K. Is there any interest at all? Or
yeah, he'll be the third line center. So, like, it makes sense. Like, he'll be power play 2 as well. So there's certainly worse plays you could make. I'm not gonna poo-poo the play entirely, but I think, I personally don't really think it's all that great unless you are playing Kessel, who should be confirmed in that spot, as I don't really see Sheahan going out there and getting 5 DK points without Kessel scoring a goal or something like that. So but that is an interesting find. The other, I guess another name, the Ian Cole revenge game, DJ.
You often forget about that one.
I mean, Ian Cole was like one of the DFS gods, like in Pittsburgh, and then he kind of like stopped blocking shots in Columbus, which is interesting because you think like, Tortorella like block shots, but kind of hasn't.
Hand shots.
Yeah, kind of hasn't really happened for him. So that would be more of an interesting play, I think, if his game logs were like better, because you could see the minutes like increasing there or whatever. All right, let's go to Montreal, Detroit.
Yeah, the game of the night. Montreal Canadiens traveling to Detroit to play the Battle of Cheap Stacks. Pacioretty obviously will not play. When was the last time he played? I haven't seen him.
I think he's done.
Yeah. He's done. I just wondered. Yeah, end of March. So it's only been like a month. Okay, I was sitting here. I was like, the beginning of March, not end of March. Yeah, I was like, I feel like I haven't seen that name in forever. But 3 guys saw 20 minutes forward wise for Montreal last game against Winnipeg. That was Duren, Galchenyuk, and Byron. Byron and Duren both on line 1 with Gallagher. Lehkonen, Galchenyuk, like that's something I would consider maybe, but I kind of doubt I end up playing anything from this game in general.
I think Montreal on the road's a bit like, it's kind of done. Detroit, this is kind of the spot where I think I'm more sticking to home teams in these sort of matchups. Like, I don't know.
Like a fine punt, like 3,700. He shoots the puck. He's got power play. Oh no, is he power play 2? Why is he power play 2? Never mind, he had power play 2. I was like confident.
Well, I mean, when you have a guy like Paul Byron, DJ, you just gotta play him on your first power play.
I always forget about how good Paul Byron is. Like it slips my mind. So Detroit side, are you just like Larkin, Mantha, or bust, or Athanasiou potential?
Yeah, that's. I mean, I don't think Athanasiou. No, I think Larkin, like, he's just smashing. He's kind of doing what Zibanejad did, but he's actually been more consistent than Zibanejad, which makes me really upset that I haven't been playing him. I mean, if you want to play it, go for it. Like, Larkin has awesome numbers. He'll probably, come through for me yet again, even though I've probably rostered him like twice in his last 6 games. So, whatever. That's a guy who's going to play a ton of minutes, great power play role. Definitely a one-off type play to me. Mantha's the only guy I would consider playing him with, and that's, I think, a iffy call at best. Um, I think, yeah, Svechnikov got sent down to the AHL, so that's not really a thing, even though they were playing together a bit recently. So we can move on if you're ready.
Yep. Okay. That would bring us to, drum roll please, Boston, Florida. Wow. Game of the year. I mean, if you played Luongo like I did against Nashville, because you just had like all of the balls, then you would agree with me that obviously that puck. I mean, I don't even think it went in the net, let alone was Luongo was interfered with times 1,000. So you know what? No goal. I don't want to talk about it. Saved my DK night. Actually, I mean, Jamie Benn really saved my DK night. But
Cannot
Roberto,
believe
the GOAT Luongo,
Jamie
making
Benn
all the
hat
stops.
trick.
Dude, I was literally like outside of the money by like a point. And I'm like, all right, empty net, like just give me the assist. I'm like, he has 2 goals though. Like they might try to get it to him. And I turned it on and he was celebrating the goal. And I was like, yes.
So dumb. I played Radulov Sagan thing, like, oh yeah, it'll be fine. Like
I
Ben,
almost went back on the Ben call and tried to jam in Kucherov and point, and I didn't. And like I was mad early because I was like, ah man, I scored. That's not good. And then Jamie Ben's like, yo, I got you, bro. You want that Hattie though? Because I got you. Yeah, he's my favorite. But Luongo, no goal. Sticking to it. Sorry, Carrie Underwood, but it wasn't no goal. I mean, save the Florida season. Like if Florida makes the playoffs now, there's a conspiracy. But anyways,
already turning. Anyways, so we're kind of playing that like. I know last time I was kind of all in on Tampa, like just like, hey, Tampa's like good. Don't forget about it. Tampa's actually pretty good. I don't think Florida's anywhere close to being better than Boston. I would consider this game to be more of what we saw on Tuesday, like the 2-1 type game. I don't see this being wide open. I don't see any of these prices really being exploitable. I'm sure you might like Vinny Trocheck, DJ, just because you liked him last time out. He pretty much smashed. So Keith Yandle below 5,000 as well. They're kind of falling back into place, but I don't know how I feel about it. Like I just feel like I found a few other spots here that I'm more interested in. But where does Florida rank on your kind of desperate teams list?
Wow. I mean, the only thing I'd say about Florida is where the minutes are going to go, and you like have full awareness that like Trocheck's
the Colton Sevier, of course, is what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like it's not a bad punt. He had 18 minutes last game. Like we've seen him before, like be pretty decent. His price now is 3,100, playing with Barkov and Bukestad. That enough. Yeah, Bukestad got back to third line. So I honestly like Skivier's definitely a decent punt. He was power play 2, correct? No?
Yeah.
No, he was not. He did not play power play time.
Okay. So. And yeah, Sevier's shot numbers are actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
Like they're not Bukestad level. Even when Bukestad was like outside of the top 6, but they're rather close. So 3.1, I think that's one of the top punt options. We saw him score a goal last game, so even though I don't think that it's like predictive, as in like, oh, he'll definitely score a goal again. Coaches do use those sort of things to say like, hey, this line's working, he's contributing on it. I'm just gonna let it be. And that could change as quick as one bad shift and Boston scores a goal and they go up. But I think for 3.1, it's certainly worth the risk. But not something that I'm like going all in on. Anything on the Boston end of things, I'm kind of just done because of the minutes. I don't think Donato is going to play a ton. With McAvoy and Chara back, I think Torrey Krug's role takes a massive hit as well. So
yeah,
not really much I like.
The Boston fade. Honestly, okay. I do think Florida fighting for their lives. Like, I don't want to play against them, to be honest. I know that's probably not like DFS the sharpest thing always to do, but I don't know. There's something to this game that I probably end up not playing it at all because I do think it'll be low scoring, like you said. Right. The Trocheck one-off, I don't know if I'll do it again. It was a bold strategy the first time.
Calgary at Winnipeg. I don't even think we should worry about what the lines were last game, just because I don't think they'll be sitting that entire first line yet again. So I would expect Scheifele and Wheeler to be back. I would expect Kyle Connor to be playing with them. I think there's an obvious replacement on the power play units that we saw as well, with Wheeler and Roslovic being, replacing Connor, or sorry, with Wheeler and Scheifele replacing Connor and Roslovic on the unit we saw last game. So I don't really think anything will change all that much. Another thing that worries me is this Ehlers Stastny Line line, assuming Scheifele and Wheeler are back, and obviously if they're the ones sitting, which they certainly could be. But unless there's like something like that or a full line sitting out, I think they'll just roll 4 lines here. And there's not really much value that I like. So are you seeing anything on the Winnipeg side? Like, I don't think Calgary's a play either.
I mean, I don't know. Like, obviously, these Winnipeg guys are like great, and Calgary is trash. But this game just feels
Kyle
like
Connor 6.4.
Yeah, I can't stomach these prices. They're just too much. Like, I'm not fully against maybe a guy like Matthew Perreault if there are a lot of guys sitting out and Matthew Perreault is in. But he's just been so bad lately that it doesn't feel like you need to do it. Like, I think there's better guys at the same price.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Roslovic step up. So
what is his price now?
He's 3,000.
Oh, wow.
So, like,
pretend
Line sits and Stastny or something, you could definitely see Wheeler and Scheifele replacing Stastny Line, and there you go, same unit from last game, and Roslovic gets a huge upgrade. But I think in order for Roslovic to be a play, 2 people would have to sit out from Winnipeg, like 2 big name top 6 forwards.
Yeah,
and if that doesn't happen, then I'm not playing it.
Like, Skeevier probably is the better option, even though Roslovic,
I would say so.
Pretty sure got power play time in the last game.
Well, he replaced all the missing guys.
Okay. All
right, some more.
Calgary. Fu, Bennett, Gaudreau were line 1. Fu and Bennett are really cheap. They also were all in the first power play, so yeah,
Spencer
probably
a pass. 7 shots against Arizona.
So yeah, so Spencer Fu might even be a better option than Roslovic, he says. Debatable.
No first power play, correct?
No, Fu was.
Was he? Oh man.
Fu, Bennett, Hamilton, Gaudreau.
Oh man.
Giordano,
okay. All right.
Fu and Gaudreau led.
That's
5-on-5 time.
Oh boy.
I liked Spencer Fu coming out of college, honestly.
You did, yeah. Because I'd never heard of him, and you talked him up when
I was
he signed.
And I was stuff, and I'm like, this guy shoots. He's like not bad. We'll see.
All right.
I like his name.
Are you going out on a limb, making him your cheap guaranteed goal?
Yeah, let's just chalk it up. Who cares?
Right,
whatever. Saves me enough room for anyone I want. I don't know. I like Spencer Fu. I really don't hate it. Like, Winnipeg, I don't think has literally anything to play for. Well, I guess unless if they could take out Nashville, maybe. I don't know. If Winnipeg is benching a bunch of guys, like, i.e. Morrissey and Trouba, or Morrissey and Byfuglien, or Byfuglien and Trouba, or Myers, any of these guys.
I think Myers, it's his turn to sit. So
yeah, so like I don't hate it. Like, I really don't hate it, because I mean, just because they're not the best players doesn't mean in
too sharp DJ
roles. Like, being on the ice gives you an infinite larger chance of scoring a goal. So that's all you need. 17 minutes, power play 1, lock it up.
All right. So we got the hot take right there.
Wait, hold on. The one guy from Winnipeg, before we get on to the next game, I don't want to say his name wrong. Niku. What's his first name though?
Sammy
Niku. He ended up scoring a goal. Did he play power play time?
No.
Okay. Just thought I'd mention that he has a name, and is Sammy Niku. And
I would.
And people liked him.
I would guess that he's a scratch, unless a guy like Pullman draws out, which I don't think will happen. So, but we'll see. Certainly a team to keep an eye on, given what we saw on Tuesday. So let's move to Vegas at Edmonton. Edmonton is shutting down Sekera for the year. I think he was out there last game too. So, just the ritual of checking to see who's on that McDavid power play unit. It was Bear last game, so he's expensive, but sometimes you do. Well, actually, no, he dropped way back down. Okay, never mind. He only is 3,000 now. He was up at 4K, and now he's back at 3K. So
Why not?
that could be the McDavid exposure play that you use as a punt. Keep him in mind. Let's see. Nugent Hopkins was out last game. I didn't see anything on him. He's still listed as day to day.
It was really weird, right? Like it was like it wasn't anything. All of a sudden, it just wasn't playing, like out of nowhere, right?
Right. Yeah, he's probably still a bit sore from the what he broke ribs, I think, right? So he could
I
just
don't know,
still be
maybe.
sore from that, like in March or whatever. Um, but let's see if RNH doesn't play, Draisaitl makes a decent amount of sense. Is McDavid center? Yeah, he is. For some reason, they have McDavid and Draisaitl both as center, even though they
Yeah,
played together last game.
I mean,
So
I'm sure they didn't both play center at the same time. And there's three guys in the face-off circle.
why don't they just play two goalies at the same time and just
take up the whole net? That's what
yeah.
everyone says that doesn't know hockey. How many times have you heard that? Someone's like, why don't you just have everyone sit in the net and then no one would score? It's like, okay,
I like the way people think.
you know what? You're not wrong. We just combined all of the humans on one team.
Anyways, McDavid is the league's leading point scorer, so 7,700 for him.
For Hart?
Certainly could make. Let's not even. Let's
Okay.
just not. Vegas is going to be pretty banged up here, as we mentioned off the top. Marchessault, Perron will not play. We think Riley Smith's going to draw back in, but you could even see some defensemen, step out of the lineup too here, just because they've kind of reached that point in the year. Eric Halla seems like he'll be back. He's with the team at least, so he could play. But I don't really think he moves the needle defensively at all for them by any means. The name of Tuesday that just did it go under the radar? Did we just completely miss it? I don't know.
I mean, I saw he was slotted in, and I honestly considered it, but it was so late because they played a 10 p.m. 10 p.m. game, and I feel like a lot of people their lineups just didn't have I don't even know, but Matt, I'll let you take it. I honestly considered it because I had a Vegas stack, and I'm like, am I really going to do this? To simply destroy my lineup?
Yeah, okay. I wanted to make sure because I didn't see him on the first line at all. He wasn't listed on the first line.
It was only in the pregame.
Okay.
The pregame skate, one of the reporters put it out. Who was slotted in the first line, Matt?
It was Tuck, right? Is that what you're asking?
And Brandon Peary?
Yeah, we didn't even say his name. That's what I was trying to figure out.
I was like, have you not said it yet? I
didn't know.
Brandon Peary. I kept trying to tee it back up for you because you love him.
Yeah, the best way to describe Peary is that he was Frank Vetrano before Frank Vetrano. That's really the best way.
First power play and fourth line and get 8 minutes, but have a goal in the power play every game with the Rangers. And it was well, I don't want to play him, but he always scores. It doesn't make sense. He was an anomaly.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously he had I guess not slate breaking because he was virtually unowned, but just an incredible night on Tuesday. If that line, or if he stays in that top 6, which you would expect him to, he didn't even skate with the team in the morning. So
yeah, that's what I mean. It was just pre-game skate only, and then all of a sudden it was what? What was his ownership? Can you see it?
No, I don't even think.
I have to go back. 0%.
So
I guarantee someone jammed him in. Whatever. Finish what you were saying. I'm sorry. He is on pace right now. I mean, 9.5 fantasy points per game. That's
pretty good. Pretty good. So that's really the only name that I think I have an eye out for, though. Shea Theodore at almost 5K is, the shots have been there for him, which is really nice to see. But he's at that price where I think there's just a lot of fantasy studs, and I don't think I'm stacking here. And as you mentioned earlier, DJ, I think I'm more interested in other stacks. But let's try and get these last 3 games out of the way.
Yeah,
and
we're taking way longer than I thought we would.
Yeah, right.
We always do this.
There's
Whatever.
there's so many hypotheticals here though that it's just
There's
like
I
kind of
feel like
fun.
that's the problem. We're like, oh, we'll just jam through these games and whatever. And then it's like, wait, but this might happen. If that happens, then we
Yeah,
get carried away, and then none of it happens.
right. Yeah.
It's Morningscape madness all over again. Okay, so I honestly, the one thing I'm gonna say, I feel like a lot of people are gonna be on Arizona tomorrow. Go out. Let's say it.
Really?
I really do. I really think people are gonna keep riding them. Like they've been scoring goals in bunches. The problem is where are you gonna go? And I think that Strom Domi stack is gonna get maybe because the point chase, could get the bump, and people might skip out on the Keller, Stepan, Ekman Larson because the Chuchrin got hurt last game. I don't know if
Yep. He's done.
out. He is out.
He's done
yes.
for the
So
year. Yep.
I really think that stack, because I feel like people are going to look at it and be like, well, it's just a little bit too expensive to go OEL with Stepan.
It appears Domi stepped up to play the Chychrun role on the power play too, by the way.
So I honestly, the Keller, Stepan, OEL stack, like it's very mid-range, and I think it's going to go aggressively under-owned.
Didn't you
and
just
I really
say you feel like people are going to be playing Arizona?
No,
though?
I'm saying I think people are going to end up going Strom and Domi because of the game they had last game.
Okay. Okay.
Like, and I think people are going to miss the Keller, Stepan, OEL stack.
Okay.
I am way overthinking this probably. I guarantee all of it goes under-owned because it's a 12-game slate and it doesn't matter at all.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think people, if they're on Arizona, are going to go with Strom and Domi personally. And that's just me basing it off of thin air. So, Matt, I'll let you talk.
Yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from here. If you really want to point chase, Kevin Connaughton has just been like scoring for some reason. He has 4 goals in his last 4 games. You would expect, with those numbers, with Chychrun being out, Domi steps up to the first unit. Connaughton could slide it to the second unit. He's only 2.9. Like that's like these are the kind of points chasey plays that I think are just they're fine because the price hasn't moved. The minutes are increasing as a result, and the role could increase as well as a result.
I just love seeing a defenseman with 11 goals and 10 assists in 72 games. That's a crazy. You know what I mean? Like how? That's just a weird stat line. I don't hate the thought process. I mean, I just feel like OEL is like going to. I mean, the price is why he's 4.7. I think he deserves it. He's been fine. But I think people are going to look in that price range and not play him. And I think if you go with him with a stack with Arizona, power play 1, I mean, it really could end up being Domi because it does look like he might move in for Chychrun.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. So anything on the Vancouver side? I know Godolbin had a couple. He had one absolute snipe. I think actually 2 games ago, but he had 2 goals last game. But I mean, if you even want to wait with him, is there anyone on this Vancouver side?
It's the Sedin's final home game.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I mean that's the only reason that I think that could be relevant is that we're looking at Sam Gagner as their winger. I would expect their minutes to be like pretty sky high. And while I wouldn't necessarily play Daniel, I think that Daniel makes a bit more sense than Henrik. I think Henrik is just never a play. Daniel could honestly be a play at 4.2, Gagner 3.9. They'll be first line, like first power play together. And obviously the narrative there is, they're retiring after Hall of Fame careers. So I would expect them to play honestly 20 minutes plus, which will be kind of cool. And just one of those little things that I think could help DFS lineup.
Yeah. But Henrik Sedin with 3 goals on the year is just like the ultimate not GPP play. Daniel, I could get on board with Daniel Gagner stack if you just really want to just drive home the narrative street. I probably won't have it myself, but if you're just narrative like God, go for it. Why not? But Godolbin 3.2, like great shot. Like definitely chasing points and whatnot, but he has 3 goals in 2 games. So I think someone might be on him. I don't know. It probably is 2 point JC for
All
me
right,
to keep it
let's
against you.
let's move
keep going.
to Minnesota at LA.
That's Matt saying, DJ, that's a terrible take. Please, let's move on. And I'm like, you know what? You're
No,
probably right.
I'm like falling asleep here because
I'm very tired too. So let's keep going.
yeah, I mean Minnesota versus LA, that's pretty like LA we mentioned just clinched, so really not a ton to play for on the Minnesota side either. Um,
You
yeah,
just
I mean,
gotta, yeah, I think wait for any notes to come out, see if anyone sits, and go from there. But I agree.
yeah, we don't really know what Minnesota's doing. They're mid game currently. LA, I just don't see, I don't
Minnesota on a
see
back-to-back,
anyone
and LA probably hungover after celebrating their playoff appearance.
ever. Like,
It feels like a fade.
I really pretty much never play LA. So,
I barely play anyone against Minnesota, let alone LA against
all right.
Minnesota.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with nothing. I have literally no one that I want to play here, like
You
at
know
all.
what? Dumba is the only guy maybe I would consider because isn't the last game they didn't have Suter or Spurgeon. So I think
Yeah,
Dumba just mentioned.
they're Dunzo or Suter's
Dumba
Dunzo,
4-8.
and
Just I'll throw him in there as the one guy in Minnesota that's like worth consideration. He's a great DFS asset. 4.8 maybe a little bit expensive, but yeah, like that could end up being a little bit.
yeah, I mean, if you like that, Brodin probably makes a bit more sense, honestly, because he's basically replaced Suter, like playing the Suter role. So 3.6, but I
just like I don't think it's the worst slate in the world to play 3 defensemen on. Honestly, I think we mentioned a lot of good value in the defense category. But okay, let's move on to the final game. Two teams with Colorado with a lot to play for, and San Jose with a little bit to play for.
Not a lot to play for.
Not a lot to play for. So, do you have any interest in maybe throwing in some Colorado?
I want to see who's in and out for San Jose. Like, if a defenseman is out for San Jose or something like that, I think that could be kind of fun. Like maybe they sit Vlasic or something. Then I might be a bit more interested. But at these prices on the road, like I would really only do a full McKinnon stack, as in like McKinnon, Rantanen, Landeskog, and Barrie. Just because I don't really see McKinnon being necessary on this slate in the same way that like a Taylor Hall could be. As McKinnon's success has been a bit more like shared between those specific 4 guys than like Hall's has, because Hall seems to have like 10 different assist getters on like every 5 goals. So yeah, I mean, I think that like the full Colorado stack is a ballsy play. But I think the prices on the surrounding McKinnon guys are cheap enough to where that stack does make a little bit of sense if you think that they score like 3 goals and kind of do everything to get Colorado the win here.
Yes, I agree. Full McKinnon stack, I really think could be one of the top stacks, in my opinion, on the whole night. I love it. And then on the San Jose side, with Kane out, Bodker was with Hurdle and Couture, Mayer was with Pavelski and Donskoy, and Hurdle was of the power play 1 for San Jose. So if you're considering San Jose, power play 1, Pavelski, LeBont, LeBanc, whatever, Hurdle, Burns, Couture. So do with that what you wish. I probably won't end up playing much San Jose, so why don't we just do stacks, goals, and go to bed?
Yay. All right.
Do you have one in mind up the top?
Yeah, gotta sit in my thinking chair for a second.
I mean, I could go. I really do like that full McKinnon stack as maybe my top expensive stack. Landeskog, maybe Rantanen, and Barrie with McKinnon. Like, you might not have to do the full if you don't want. Would you have a preference of Rantanen or Landeskog personally, or like you realize Mikko Rantanen has 82 points in 79 games?
Yeah, I do.
It's crazy.
He's pretty good. Yeah.
Like I think I'd go Rantanen for 400 more. Just whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think that's the smart play. We've seen before, like Landeskog moved off of that line, like, but I don't think that'll happen. But like we've seen that Rantanen is definitely the like official running mate of McKinnon. So I would agree with you there. I'll go with the Philly first power play, like that. Giroux, Gostisbehere, and then you can go Voracek or Couturier. Like, I think if I'm spending, it's like I think that's one of the better spend stacks. I don't know how I feel about Edmonton. I want to see the Vegas lineup before I commit to like a McDavid stack, but I think that's like my other top end one that I'm like really honing in on right now.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I was kind of thinking about the Nolan Patrick Voracek stack.
Hmm, okay.
Um, like I really like that too, especially if we have any confirmation he's power play one. Although who knows? But I was kind of thinking about that Voracek, Patrick, Gostisbehere stack. Although it's not really
Yeah,
that
I mean
cheap, but
yeah, that's solid too. I like that.
I like that one. So I'll go with that as my cheap, even though it's not that cheap. You're welcome, guys.
Ah, the cheap, even if though it's not that cheap, and it like kind of overlaps mine. But all right,
You're welcome.
really, only the finest. At I just thought you were gonna go with that Calgary stack for some reason.
I honestly considered it. I was gonna do it, but I just can't bring myself to like. I really think if you're like rolling some lineups though, like it's
Yeah.
not the worst idea. Like
But
Calgary might not have anything to play for in the standings, but these are guys kind of playing for, making the team next year. And Spencer Fu, and he shoots the puck a lot. Sam Bennett kind of playing for that. Is he like I mean, what was it a couple of years ago? And people are like, man, this guy could have been the top player from the draft, and clearly Drysdale's completely jumped him. Now even Reiner just completely shattered him this year. Like as far as who was like the best player from that draft. So there's a guy that's like trying to avoid bust status. I don't know. I don't know what goes on in their heads. I'm just making stuff up. Matt, do you have
oh, you were talking about Ben. Oh my god, I thought you were talking about Drysdale for some reason because I heard Drysdale. I'm like, what? Bust that? Like I was about to like
no,
strangle you
no,
through
no.
the.
No, I was
Okay,
just trying to say like Bennett.
okay.
It was
No,
like
I get it. I get it. I get
yeah.
it. I was just like half paying attention
Who was two?
because
Wait.
um
Oh,
I,
never mind. No,
I
never
kind
mind.
of I mean the lock cheap stack of the century. Vancouver, Daniel, Gagne, throw in some Edler action.
Whew.
The power play, like the Vancouver might spend 45 minutes on the power play in this game. The refs are going to be in the bag for the Sedins. Everyone there is going to be like, hey, let Daniel go out on top, basically. And
Take a
Henrik,
trip down narrative street with me, Matt. I love it.
yo,
Oh, that's spicy. Honestly, like
honestly, this slate is garbage. Like we're gonna get so many garbage injuries, and it's gonna be like, oh my god, like here is blah 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 from the AHL playing first line with like I don't know, like with Ekstrom and Ovechkin or something, and it'll be like, no, they're actually gonna play like 6 minutes. So why not get the guys who have been awesome their entire careers, are basically a lock to play 20, 21, 22 minutes.
whoa.
Like, I mean, what else are you going to do if you're Vancouver, though?
And
Like,
honestly, this slate, like, there's not that much
yeah,
goodness as
like
far as like the money involved in
it's
the
just
slate.
fun.
Like,
And it's
this is
fun.
kind of for
We
fun.
play
Like,
DFS for fun.
like
And
have fun tomorrow. That's my best advice. Like, this is not for high stakes, unless if you play the 333, I think is the only decent contest out there. So if you're not
locking it
doing
in.
that, just you know what, just lock it in. I actually, it's not a bad call at all. Like,
All right.
sometimes you got to do this. So guaranteed goals, Matt. Is it just gonna go for the fourth goal of the season from
From Henrik.
Hendrick?
Oh my God.
Fourth
What
goal of
if?
the season? Yeah.
What if?
I
I
mean,
know.
lock
I'm
it
gonna.
in. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna go a bit. I mean, I'm not gonna say Vancouver. I think Vancouver obviously is like really strong plays, but I'm gonna go with like different guys for my guaranteed goals. So
All right, do whatever you want, man. This is your world. We're just living in it. Do you want me to go with mine? Because I already said it has to be Spencer Fu, and I'm having fun. So
yeah, I mean, do it. Who you going
Fu.
with it?
I mean, Fu and McKinnon.
Okay.
I have
Okay.
all of the money in the world. I might as well go McKinnon. Like I was like Haller McKinnon, McKinnon. Even though I said he was in my stack, but who cares?
Yeah.
Who has more
Whatever.
goals in the season? I mean, honestly, probably Hall would be the better like guaranteed goal kind of. Nah, I'm going McKinnon. Who cares?
Yeah,
See you, man.
McKinnon's the go. All right, I'm gonna go with Cam Atkinson,
Ooh,
and let's see, getting me right to that 12K mark. Ty Ratty, first power play.
love
Mr.
Tyrant.
He's playing with McDavid. That's all.
That's
He
fine.
sucks. He sucks. But if you're looking for like a guy with upside, I think anyone with McDavid has upside. So,
All right. Well, before we go, I will give the birthday shout out to Jimmy. Happy birthday, buddy. Yeah,
Happy birth.
All right, Carrie Underwood, relax. So this is the last regular season podcast of the season. Obviously, we'll do the playoffs. We might do maybe one for the off season. We'll see if we get bored and we want to throw one out there. And then I think what we're looking at is probably looking at next year, beginning of the year for the t-shirts, because I don't really want to front the capital in like Olean to get shirts made that are like half-assed compared to like they're not going to be the best quality, rather than like waiting and finding somewhere in Rochester when I have like a lot of money and can get like good quality things and like actually be able to ship them under like a reputable kind of system, rather than like me going to the post office and praying things don't get lost. So I think we're gonna wait till next year, beginning of the year, kind of do that. And the whoever wins the listener league, which right now Matt is in the lead for the entire season, will get a free one.
Yeah.
So if it's Matt, I'll buy you your shirt.
Hey, I didn't even know that.
You are in the lead by 1.
Nice.
So there is obviously this slate, and we can do it all the way through the playoffs. Like, I don't care. We can be done by then. So, yeah, but thanks for everyone for the regular season. Definitely a lot more growth to this podcast, but we're really hoping by year 3 to kind of have everything all together. I can focus on it more after I get out of like work instead of having a test the next day and all that garbage. So thanks for hanging in there with us all year. Matt, anything you want to say?
No, I just thank you for the support. It's been a great year, and hopefully if you're rooting for a team that's in the hunt, that, you know, they make the playoffs for you. So, I really got nothing else to say. We'll obviously be back early next week with a first round preview. So really looking forward to that and getting into what I think is one of the most underrated like DFS times of the year. Like NHL playoffs are just so great. So I really hope you guys stick around to play some DFS NHL during then as well.
Definitely. Okay. Matt, close us out.
Alrighty. So thank you for listening from Doug, from DJ, and from myself. Have a good slate, everybody, and we will see ya.